Celebrating a Browns victory. Rare to say, but so good to taste, finally. I don't care how it went down with the Miami Dolphins, but now come the Patriots. Was it fool's gold? Was it a mirage? Was it just a feel-good moment, or is this something the Browns can build off of? Also, it's the first buy again for the fantasy football season. You need help? I got you covered. Let's get to the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, the sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Chubba Lubba Hub.
It's going to be sick.
That's right, everybody. Go time, Browns, huh? How's it feel? We got 2 wins. Something? You know what? As we've been through horrible seasons as Browns fans, so many. So it's just like, yeah, will it affect the draft stock? Probably. You know, will it mean anything at the end of the year? No. But it just feels good to get a win after so much losing over and over again, right? That's what I'm celebrating today. And to get to dust off the old Victory Monday mug. Also, like I said, folks, for fantasy football teams, we're not messing around. All right. It is rough sledding out there if you need a running back on the waiver wire. On bye this week, the Lions, the Raiders, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Jaguars. We got 6 teams on bye, the first bye-mageddon of the season. Yeah, it's a little bit rough. Got you covered, though. All you got to do is you can jump in the chat live, get your fantasy football questions and waiver ads, whatever you need. Also, follow along on X at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81. Get hashtag Ask Andy. Get your fantasy football questions in. We'll also be live Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, teeing up Browns Patriots. Instagram as well at AndyMC Sports, and on TikTok where you can check out the instant game reaction. So lots of fantasy football talk to get to. We'll have our DraftKings Sportsbook best bet as well. But let's talk a little bit about this Browns game. And let's bring in my guy who's back from England, Dave DeNatale from WKYC Sports in Cleveland. He went to the London game.
I did.
Didn't get a win there, Dino, but, we got one last week. So that's okay.
Yeah, cheerio, my friend. Cheerio.
He picked up the accent already. I don't believe it.
I got to tell you, it was there were so many unique experiences about watching an NFL game in a foreign country in London. You know, I mean, I've seen an NFL game in Toronto up in where you are. But it's so unique in London. I saw literally a jersey for every NFL team at Tottenham at the stadium.
Yeah.
I saw Browns jerseys. I mean, you got them all. You got current players, but you got the Chris Spielmans. And you got Jim, and then, of course, you get Michael. There was a Michael Dean Perry jersey.
Yes.
Like, that's amazing.
I love me some Michael Dean Perry.
It was a great time. We can talk more about it, but I'm just hey, listen, I'm happy the Browns got a win because the way the disappointment against the Vikings and then just getting blitzed by Pittsburgh last week.
Again,
you have to get that taste of victory in your mouth. And Grant Delpit was talking about that. I don't remember what this feels like. You need these players to understand through this marathon of a season that's likely going to have more downs than ups. When ups are possible, you got to make it happen. And it was nice the Browns did that.
Boy, and if we thought the Browns were the worst team, Miami might have something to say about that, Dino. Oh, boy. Mike McDaniel, he's just a weird dude. He's wearing, like, cartel sunglasses in a rainstorm. His team's this guy's dead man walking. I'm shocked they didn't fire him. It must just be like, all right, ride this out, get the best draft pick possible, and clean house after. That team is total disarray.
Garbage. And it's I understand you got a playmaker like Tyreek Hill's not in the lineup. I get it. That's tough. Everybody has to deal with injuries. But at some point, at some point you got to go out there and play. And you still had your starting quarterback. You still have some couple of decent, talented players on the defensive side. And, the Browns were able to run the football, when they needed to and be physical, which that's got to be the template for the offense for the rest of this year. I don't care who the quarterback is what you saw Sunday. And finally, Andy, the Browns defense took advantage of opportunities, enforcing turnovers, taking one of them directly back for a touchdown with the Campbell play. It was just nice to see. And boy, you're right. I think if you look at it right now, you can say Miami's worse than the Browns.
Yeah.
I think you could say Tennessee's worse than the Browns. And I think you could say the Jets are worse than the Browns.
Yeah.
So
Saints too.
And the Saints. Yeah, I'll put them there too. So they're, everybody who sits there and says, boy, it was worse at 1-31. No, I'm sorry. This is, this is worse than 1-31. I'm sorry.
Not worse than 1-30. No,
this is not that.
No.
And I think there were enough promising things from Sunday. Look, New England's a lot tougher than Miami. I think we all can agree on that, especially on the road. But I think you feel better about that matchup certainly now than you would have coming off of Pittsburgh or Minnesota or whatever.
Yeah. Quick note from the chat here. Our buddy Grant says, my coworker ran the scoreboard at the Browns and Jets London games. How about that?
Oh, okay.
Grant from Canton, Ohio. Grant, our good buddy there. Yeah.
Well, what's nice is at least in this case, I can't speak for the Browns and Jets for the Jets game, but the Browns were the home team. So they did a great job at Tottenham making it as much as they could. And I would say that there was a Viking. I don't know where the Yankee came from. I felt like I was a Yankee in King Arthur's court. But I would say there was probably about 65-35 in terms of Viking fans over Browns fans. At least that's how it sounded.
Right.
And what I saw with the jerseys. That said, Jeff Shreve, the Browns PA announcer, made the trip. He was there on the PA. A lot of the press box staff, as you mentioned, made the trip over and were there. So you had the graphics on the scoreboard that you might see, at Huntington Bank Field. So, it felt a little bit, it was like, okay, I'm not in Cleveland there, Toto, but they tried to at least make it feel like a bit of a Cleveland home game. And of course to have Joe Thomas on the, he was working on television, but he was also doing some on-field hosting, and that was cool too. That
was pretty neat. You know what, Dino, let's reflect back on this game, then we'll move ahead to the Patriots. Let's give out some dog bones and doghouse. There we go. So, dog bones, Dino, you mentioned it. That pick six, we crap on Andrew Berry, and rightfully so a lot of the time. That Tyson Campbell trade for Greg Newsome. Holy cow. That looks like an absolute home run trade. This guy is big. He's fast. After the first game where they're like, hey, man, just kind of turn your head a little bit and good things might happen. Turns his head towards the ball when he's defending. Takes it to the house.
Like he's physical. And he's perfect for Jim Schwartz's defense because the Browns play a lot of man, and they especially with that defensive line and what they want to do, they rely on their corners to match up so that they can blitz if they need to. Whereas Greg Newsome, I think, is more suited for a zone type of a system, in the secondary. So,
which is what Jacksonville has. So might be nice.
Exactly. So I think it worked. It's one of those trades that I think is worked out for both teams. I felt bad for Greg when Jackson Smith and Jigba just torched him on that first play or the first half of his first game as a Jag. But it certainly has worked out for the Browns to this point. And that's nice to see. I think that was a very heads up trade by the Browns.
Controllable contract, has it back. Dog bone all the way for Tyson Campbell. Also, other interceptions. Ronnie Hickman.
Yes.
Right? We love ourselves some Ronnie Hickman. And like third string safety and kind of every man. Quinshon Judkins, heck of a game. Not just on the intercept. He was buzzing all over the place. This was a fantastic game for the defense, Dino, top to bottom. Myles Garrett got a sack. We got Donovan McMillan. I forgot he was on the team, had a sack. Delpit.
I thought Delpit was tremendous. Yes. I mean, he was forcing fumbles. Yeah. He was active. I mean, he was the one who got went in and got the strip sack in the end zone. I thought he was outstanding. I think he's having his best year as a pro this season. Being healthy certainly helps.
Oh, it does, and he's getting a flow. And do you know what it showed? Was that if this team, and have this happen however you will, gets a double score lead, whether it's 10 points, whether it's 14 points, and Myles Garrett called that out. Like, boy, it must be nice. Jim Schwartz wanted it. When you got it, look what this defense can do. Yeah. That's why, Dino, that's why there's been no turnovers the last 2 years. The team hasn't led.
No, you're right. So you can pin your ears back with Grant Delpit on a blitz and go after the quarterback when you're ahead like that. It's amazing. It opens up the play card so much more. Yes. And Jim Schwartz, he'll be aggressive when he loves his defensive line because all four guys can get to the quarterback or disrupt the backfield, as it were. I mean, even if Mason Graham hasn't had a sack yet, he's been disruptive, obviously. So, it plays for the Browns so well to get out, like you said, get out in the lead because they can be a little bit more daring on defense. And you've got guys who can make plays.
Yeah, and let's give it to Andre Schmidt. Dog bone to Schmidt. In tough conditions, Dino. Schmitty, we never doubted him.
Nope.
Right? Not a problem. Yeah. Look, since that first game, and that is unfortunate because you are that game away and a game you should have won against Minnesota away from having a whole different outlook. 3-4 looks a lot different than 2-5. And I'll give Schmidt credit, man. Tough conditions, wind, rain. Guy hit his field goal and 4 for 4 extra points, doing his job.
I tell you, this is one of those times, for fans, when you're sitting there and you're going, man, why do we want to keep Kevin Stefanski? Why should we? Why, if you're looking for a reason to keep him, to put something in that pro and con category, down the line, remember that many coaches would have jettisoned Andre Schmidt after week 1.
I was ready to.
You and I think we're tweeting about it. I'm like, you can't bring him back. I was there for that game. Oh. I was sitting in that side of the stadium when it happened. I'm like, they can't bring him back. No. But you know what? They did, and it paid off. And he wins the game against Green Bay with a 50.
That's what I was at. That was fantastic.
There you go. And then just very steady in his first really test in the Cleveland elements.
Yeah.
And does a great job. So
that's all
I'm with you on that dog bone, no doubt.
And last dog bone on offense, it's only one man, and that is our new top dog, Quinshon Judkins. This guy, ferocious. He's like Nick Chubb, but like outwardly mad. Like I love the passion. Yeah.
Where Nick Chubb wasn't mad, but he does remind me of 2018, 2019 Nick Chubb. I don't know if he's as fast in the open field as Nick was at the time, but his ability to read the lanes and to read the field,
we saw that
very much like Nick, and his ability to shed tackles or tackle attempts, very much like Nick. I'm very happy with the way Judkins is playing.
3 touchdowns.
It's going to make, now, of course, when we start talking about the Patriots game, well, everybody's going to be keying on Judkins, but that will open up opportunities elsewhere if you can capitalize on it.
If is the big word, Dino. That is the big if. And I love it. Judkins, he showed that second gear getting outside, and you're right. Just the movement, the shifting, the plant to go and run through. And I got to give consistent dog bone to Harold Fannin Jr. Dino, this guy, he catches the ball, and he will get you like not 1 extra, like 5 extra yards. The no quit on this kid is unbelievable. unbelievable. I don't think it gets talked about enough. Every time he gets the ball, if he catches it at the 25-yard line, he's going to end at the 30 with 4 guys on him. The effort is amazing.
He's not gonna go down easily with that first tackler, and he always leans forward too. It's a good habit for a rookie. We talk about running backs, great running backs, whether it was Chubb in his day, but certainly now like a guy like Derrick Henry. They're always leaning forward. So when it looks like it'll be brought down for a loss or something, they're able to get a yard or two. In Fannon's case, he looks like he might only get a 4-yard catch, but he might fall forward for an extra 2 or 3 yards. So instead of being 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7, it's only like 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4. Not huge, but it's a little thing that makes the play calling a lot easier for Kevin Stefanski. I think that's a great point. I listen, I love Harold. I'm a Bowling Green guy, so I love him. I was Jay Crawford and I were both here the night that here at Channel 3, the night the Browns drafted him, and we were both just howling. We were so happy that the Browns did that. I love it. Anytime you get a Bowling Green guy, I'm all for it. But Harold just has to. He's got to get a little bit more consistent with his hands. Mm-hmm. He's had the drops. He's a bit, but he's a rookie. It'll pass. I think he's going to get better. He's going to get consistent, and that's going to really make him a weapon.
Yeah, it sure is. I just wanted to shout him out there. Now, Doghouse here, and Grant in the chat brings up, and I think he's accurate. He says, I don't think the offense was as good as the scoreboard shows. The defense really set them up in great situations. Absolutely. Complimentary football. And the fact that Stefanski, which I was very worried about, Dino, even in a wind and rainstorm, we saw them do it the other year against New Orleans, where it was bad weather, and they kept throwing. Yes. He got away from he stayed the course. Maybe he felt he didn't have another option. He probably didn't, but it showed it works, and that can set up situations. You get a little lead, defense can go. Special teams does their job. Now we're talking. This team has the possibility to be good. It just has to do it on offense.
Here's the thing. They were only averaging, I think, for the game, 3.5 yards a carry. But when you give the ball 25 times to Quinshon Judkins, he's going to have an opportunity to spring one. And you don't know when it's going to be, but he'll have the opportunity to maybe bust one. But you've got to – and that was the thing they didn't do in Pittsburgh, which I think was driving all of us crazy. You can't have – I don't care if they had Joe Flacco still on this team, or you're talking about Dylan Gabriel, or you're talking about Shedeur Sanders, or you're talking about Baker Mayfield, or you're talking about any quarterback. You can't be throwing in the ball with this offensive line and this receiving core. You cannot be throwing the football 50-plus times in a game and expect to have any kind of success. No. Not now, not with this roster. It's just not going to happen. No. So that long way of saying I agree with the poster there. I think the defense led the way, as they'll do all year. But kudos to the offense for taking advantage of the opportunities they did have.
Yeah, and I think Jerry Jeudy in the doghouse, man. I don't know, Dino. I don't know what happened. He wants to do well. Like he wants to. Like it's not like we've seen the past. Remember Dwayne Bowe, a couple other. Yes. I forget the other. There was one other guy who really ticked me off like him, who didn't care. Jerry Jeudy cares. He wants to do well. But Dino, I don't get it. It was Flacco and Gabriel. He's dropping forever. And that's your top guy on an razor thin receiving core that just has nobody special on it. I don't know why they're not using Isaiah Bond taking a shot downfield either.
Yeah, I've been surprised too. It's like, can you give me at least one go route with him?
Run straight, pal.
Yeah. Use your speed. That's what you got. So
yes,
I'd like to see that. Again, we'll see what the weather and the conditions in Foxborough are like this week. But I'd like to see that. Like, give me at least one deep shot to show. I'd like to see what Gabriel's arm could be, frankly, for that deep. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of it, but just to give the defense, a thought that you might be able to pop one like that.
Yeah, because otherwise, like we said, with the Patriots, by the way, weather right now saying 52 degrees, sunny, partly cloudy.
All right. Good fall Sunday afternoon. I like it.
I don't see anything about the wind. That could always change, I suppose. But, this is a case where everybody and their uncle knows the Browns' only success on offense is running the ball. So they're going to stack the box like Miami did. Now, you got to stick with it. But at some point, like you just said, you got to try to keep the defense honest. Throw one to the sideline. Maybe you get a pass interference.
Right.
Maybe he catches the ball. Air it out. Or what drives me bananas is and you see this from the good teams. On every play, you got a player who has a quick out for the quarterback. Just a little slant over the middle in space. Why not get Isaiah Bond the ball in space? He's fast.
I think it would. That's the thing. If he has difference-making speed on a team that doesn't have a lot of difference-making players, right?
Yes.
Now. So
yes,
you have to adjust to the strengths of what you have. And right now you don't have big, tall wide receivers. You've got a starting tight end who's banged up. We don't know how David's prognosis is going to be for this week. You got to take what you have, and I think you can try to get Judy those types of opportunities you're talking about too. When you're, whether you just basically, throw them on a post or something, just, something that's going to allow those guys quickly though to get into space.
Yes, make a play, get the ball in your hands, and I think for Judy, it's got to be a mental block like the yips. I think if you can get him like a nice successful player too, he might just snap right out of it. Grant saying in the chat, Bond should be used like Kansas City uses Worthy. Yeah. They were teammates.
Yes.
Same type of guy.
Yeah.
Jet sweep.
I completely agree. Yeah. I think that's a good template for what they.
And we've seen a Malachi Corley, who nice using him a couple of times. Why can't I have Isaiah Bond, who's faster, do that?
I mean, listen, we know Kevin Stefanski has never met a reverse or a jet sweep that he doesn't love, doesn't want to bite in for a cup of coffee here. So
Demetric Felton's still in motion.
Yeah, exactly. He's still running. He's still running in the backfield. Yeah. So, I mean, you have those types of plays that I think could work out for you. Again, what you're trying to do in this limited offense is show a defense that we're more than just Judkins. Yeah. We are a lot of Judkins. We need to give the ball to Judkins another 25 times. I don't care how well the Patriots are doing. You've got to stay committed to it. You've got to wear them down. That's what you do. That's the best thing that you do on offense is run the football. So you have to stay committed to it. But you've got to be able to bring in other wrinkles. And we're not talking about trick plays. We're just talking about elements of talent that your guys have, and Isaiah Bond has speed. So utilize it.
Like you said, he's like the only guy who has anything special, really talent-wise, on that offense that's a receiver. I kind of cringed the first Quinshon Judkins Wildcat. It worked out the second time. I at least like to see, Dino, with the other criticism, you can run the ball, but you also don't have to run it straight into a pile all the time, which is what Stefanski was doing. He was like there, and that was it. So I if you're going to use get a little creative. We saw that a little bit more. Hopefully that happens because Drake May and the Patriots, we know this kid's a damn good quarterback.
He's in right now. I mean, if you said, okay, who's your MVP in the NFL? We're almost at the halfway point. I mean, he's going to get a lot of your votes, and I know Baker probably would have until last night's game against Detroit.
No receivers for the guy. You talk about no receivers. Everyone injured. Oh.
But even last night, he was Baker last night reminded me of Baker in 2021. Just everything was like overthrown or too high for his receivers. Right. But that's what happens when you don't have all of a sudden you don't have Mike Evans there anymore. You lost that safety valve. But just back to the Drake May point. I mean, he's playing at a high level, and he seems to have found a coach in Mike Vrabel and an offensive coordinator and Josh McDaniels. Stop me if you've heard that before, that he's very comfortable with and that are bringing out the best in what he has to offer. And, is this Belichick Brady 2.0? Time will tell, but it's working right now. And I mean, we saw in Tennessee, look, Mike Vrabel and I are the same age. I went against him in high school.
Did you?
Yeah, basketball, actually, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I have a lot of respect for Mike, and he did a great job in Tennessee, had them within a game of the Super Bowl. He knows what he's doing, and this is. I'm not surprised that he's gotten New England, righted this quickly. I just didn't think Drake May was going to be this good this quick.
No, and we get to see on the flip side the other Ohio State rookie running back Travion Henderson looking early like the Browns took the right Buckeye. Henderson, I still think is talented, but they're trying to find their way with him. But it's really like here's outside of Stephon Diggs, they're not scary on offense. The issue is that the Browns have been so bad on offense that it almost doesn't matter. So Dino, find a way to get to 24 points. You can win this game Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think Drake May has seen a defense as good as the Browns, and it's going to be it'll be a chess game. You've got one of the best offensive coordinators in football, and again another Northeast Ohio connection. Yeah. They're all over the place.
They're all over.
Josh McDaniels of Canton, Ohio, being his head coach, Mike Vrabel, Walsh Jesuit from Stowe, Ohio. You love it, right? But you have one of the best offensive coordinators against one of the best defensive coordinators in Jim Schwartz. Drake I'm going to be really interested to see how he responds to pressure because, as we all know, we've seen the Browns enough. The Browns don't have to blitz to put pressure on a quarterback. No. As long as obviously we saw what Carson Wentz did a couple of weeks ago, and even to the extent Aaron Rodgers, they were just getting it out quickly and throwing short. But when you force your offense, the opposing offense, into long yardage situations, the Browns can come at you with just their front four. I don't think Drake May has seen a defensive line like that this year. No. So how he reacts to what the Browns are going to try to throw at him, and again, moving Myles Garrett around a little bit, we'll see how well this young quarterback who's getting all this MVP talk, how he adjusts to that. They're going to prep him a lot, obviously, this week. But it's one thing to prep. It's another thing when you've got 95 coming in right in your face. How he reacts to that is going to be interesting. And can the Browns, conversely to your point with the points, can the Browns take that, again, try to convert some of those opportunities into turnovers and give their offense opportunities to put points on the board? Again, you get to 24. I'm with you. You get to 24 points. I don't care how you do it. You get to 24 points. The Browns have a good shot to win. But as we know, it's sometimes like pulling teeth to get the points for this football team. So I think you saw the template for what they're going to need to be from now until the end of the year against the Dolphins. Unfortunately, they can't play the Dolphins every week, but it's that kind of approach that will lend itself to success for the Browns this year.
Yeah, and you look at the Patriots schedule, then we'll let you go here, Dino. They play now. The Bills win. Give them credit there in Buffalo. Heck of a victory.
Totally.
You lost to the Raiders. You beat the Dolphins. You lost to the Steelers. You beat the Panthers. They stink. You beat the Saints. They stink. You beat the Titans. They stink. Yeah. They and I'm not taking. You cannot discount that Buffalo win. That was really good.
No, it was great. It was great. All watching. It was a great win. It was a great win.
Overall, you're right. The defense, you have not been tested like this. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup come Sunday. Dino, you're going to have coverage on this game and all Cleveland sports coming up. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you read us up. Read us up at wkyc.com. Hit me up on X at Dino Cleveland. A game like this on Sunday, I will be on the. I'll have this baby with me.
Yeah,
and we love to interact with people during the games and talk about what we've seen, and it's going to be a fun one Sunday because again. It's the Browns' last game before the bye week. There's so many little subtexts to this game, little subheadings. It's the last week before the bye. You're coming off of a win. You're getting rumblings here in Cleveland that no matter what happens, Shador is going to play at least 4 games the rest of the year. I don't know about that, but we'll see. How does this team put it together and try to make it 2 wins in a row? Really interested to see that.
It really is. Well, we'll be reading and watching you, buddy. Thank you so much, as always.
Anytime, my man.
All right, there he goes. Dave DeNatale from WKYC Sports in Cleveland. Let me know your thoughts on this upcoming game. Browns-Patriots, who you got? We're talking about it live Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, we'll be covering that. If you parlay party, ultimate sports betting ticket, and we'll have a fantasy football side as well. Grant with a good comment that trapping him in the pocket and he couldn't throw over the line for Dylan Gabriel. That's the problem with a short quarterback, right? And that's what Mike Vrabel, who was here last year, don't forget, very smart. Stefanski's gonna have to get creative. Can't be too conservative. Vrabel will suffocate you if that's the case. Now, I mentioned fantasy football, folks. We gotta go under the wire. Let's go. All right. This is a problem. And I'm with you here, folks, okay? This is buy them again. We got 6 teams on buy, and it's a case where we're looking, and that's why I always advise when you're doing your drafts, you have to pay attention to the bye weeks, right? You have to pay attention. Don't stack up too many players. But regardless, at some point, you're going to get bit to a certain degree, right? And it might be a star, like Ashton Giante for me. Bad game last week, but, Lions, Raiders, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, Jaguars, all on buy. Now, one of the best pickups, I think, this week, and it's not always exciting, but you saw the Browns defense, how many points they got you last week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers D is my top ad on the DST side for fantasy football. I know it's like, oh, DST. Hey, you get yourself 20-plus points on the defense, that's how you win a week. And they're in New Orleans against the Saints, 1-6. And Buccaneers and Baker's going to be pissed off. I think that defense, the offense puts up, they're going to force Saints, and then you get cooking. Now we look at the other positions, and guys, it is so thin at running back. It is scary, right? Like Justice Hill for the Ravens is one of the top ads. He got a little bit more. I've interviewed Justice Hill before. Good guy, but is coming off the bye. Like, all right, maybe he gets you 9 points. Kyle Monaghan, the rookie out of the Chicago, 12% ownership, busted out. And this is why you got to look at the games too. Big week. Why did he have a big week? Why? DeAndre Swift also had a big week. Well, it's because the Bears got up and was a laugher, and Monaghan was able to eat. If that doesn't happen, do you have a chance for him to produce again? The answer, probably not, right? And the Bears are playing they're playing the Ravens head to head. So you could have a Justice Hill, and this is like, it's scary from that. There's Ty J. Spears. Well, he got a little bit of a taste with Pollard. All right, but Rashard Smith, I'm staying right away from with the Chiefs. That is in a perfect example of what not to do. Oh, he put up some numbers. I'm going to jump on him. No, this is Pacheco and Hunt. Smith, the rookie, got some touches because the game was so lopsided, right? So running backs are real tough. Like you go Bayshul Tootin again, like everybody, Algier for the Falcons, Bam Knight for the Cardinals. Like we're looking at guys here that are not going to be able to likely get you, and we're not going Bam Knight, of course, because the Cardinals are on bye, right? So that would be more of a future ad. But it's really thin. This might be a week where you try to go for a trade, go for it. Jerome Ford had his lowest touches, but against a disciplined Patriots team, maybe he jumps up a little bit. It's all hoping you can get to like 9 fantasy points. That's really the tough part. Now, tight end, I'm really, really liking this guy out of the Chargers, and we talked about him last week. Oronde Granson. Folks, this guy just keeps cooking. Okay, he just keeps going. I put claims in him on. I'm just gonna pull up his info here. Out of nowhere, like 5th round pick, and of course you want to, like with anything here, you want to be with any player. Was it a one-off? Why did they do well? What's the situation that put him over the top? Let's look at this guy, Oronde Gadsden. Starting 2 weeks in a row now. We're seeing a pattern. Week 3, he got 9.6 fantasy points last week. 7 catches, 9 targets, 164 yards, and a touchdown. But even before that, we saw the pattern start to pop. 8 targets, 7 catches. Now we got a pattern, right? Still just rostered in 6% of leagues. Must add. An absolute must add. He's just inhaling these. So I would have him over. We talked about love Harold Fannin Jr., but I would have him over Fannin. Name just about anybody. He's got to be, as far as tight ends go. I put him above Colston Loveland, who's another guy you could look at if Colquhoun is injured and out. A lot of mouths to feed in Chicago, though. Quarterbacks, how about that Jackson Dart? Now, he's just over the wire, 55% ownership most of the time, but we don't care if you win or lose, just how you do it. And Jackson Dart's the real deal, man. Marcus Mariota. Now, here's the problem. I almost put in a claim on him. I'm going to be waiting because we got the Monday game is Commanders Chiefs. Jane Daniels, it might not play, but could hamstring. The MRI came back negative on Jane Daniels. Marcus Mariota balls out when he went in earlier this season, fantasy-wise. Great fantasy play. I would take him against the Chiefs, absolutely, but we don't know until Monday. That's the problem. I think, too, light up some Joe Flacco, man, against the Jets. Give you some Flacco fever over in Bengalville. Do it up. Tez Johnson with still injuries in Tampa Bay with Baker. I think that's a great bounce-back opportunity also to grab him. Another really low ownership guy that you can jump on. And 22% ownership, I believe, here. Yeah. And, I'd stay away from guys like Quinshon Judkins for the Patriots. That Browns defense real good, right? We've seen people get sucked into that before. And outside of that, Andy Dalton's going to be in. Do we want to play Dalton? Tyrod Taylor's going to be in for the Jets. If I had to pick one, maybe Taylor. He went for about 20 fantasy points earlier in the year. Troy Franklin for the Broncos. I got him on one of mine. Like, he's sort of in that 9 to 11 fantasy point range. Like, not super hot, but okay. Like, maybe a Luke McCaffrey. He's flashed a little bit. Lots of maybes here, right? Xavier Leggett, if it wasn't for the matchup, I would take. And you got Andy Dalton, so we don't know if there's going to be the chemistry there. But Leggett popped nicely. It's going to be against the Bills. We're going to be pissed off. This could be an absolute smash fest. In fact, I'm going to make this my early bet DraftKings Sportsbook for Week 8. You take 7.5. We're going to take the Bills to cover that 7.5. We're going to take the Bills straight up winner, and we're going to put Josh Allen anytime touchdown. I think it's just going to be an absolute smash fest in Carolina. You think the Bills are going to lose another one in a row? No way. No way. And, Week 8 in the NFL is going to be here before you know it, folks, right? And we can start betting on it right now. Every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just football. It's first down fireworks. Anytime TD rushes. Live bets that ride every momentum shift at DraftKings. Every play is your next shot to win. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SICKSPORTS. That's code SICKSPORTS to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
There you go, people. Hey, the Victory Tuesday show. We're on to the Patriots. We got our fantasy football waiver wire sets. Again, if you got any questions leading up to it, gave you some good names listed out there. Some good reasons. But if you have any specific questions, hit me up on X, on Twitter, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81. Follow us there. Use hashtag AskAndy. Also on Instagram, at AndyMCSports, TikTok, at AndyMCSports as well. We'll be back Sunday live, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll tee up Browns Patriots, give you the starts, sits, live injury reports for fantasy football. Have more Ask Andy in there, and also get the parlay party going and build the ultimate NFL betting ticket. Big thanks to Dave DeNatale from WKYC Sports in Cleveland. For producer Shane, I'm Andy Mack. We'll see you Sunday. Until then, go Browns!
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.